attire. Notre Dame in all white, kicking from right to left. And so with just under a month to go in the season, each game has become that much more important. There's ACC tournament and NCAA tournament implications riding for both teams today. Syracuse with an outside chance, Notre Dame with a shoe-in at the moment, but that could all change by the end of 90 minutes. Hudson, this is a game that you look at it, Syracuse have really struggled in ACC play, but to be fair, they've had one of the toughest schedules in the country over the last 5 weeks. Three straight games against top 8 opponents, going up against another ranked opponent, Notre Dame, today. How difficult is it going to be for Syracuse to get a win today?
I mean, it's incredibly difficult, especially with the pace that Notre Dame plays with. They play pace, they play possession, and they get a lot of shots on goal. Shea Vanderbosch has faced a lot this year, but this might be pressure that, you would only see out of like a Florida State caliber team. Notre Dame peppers the net.
It's a Notre Dame team that came off of that 1-1 draw against NC State. Coach Nate Norman was frankly blunt in his press conference this week when we talked to him. He said that he was completely upset and disappointed with the result, especially considering that Notre Dame dominated proceedings that night. Now it's crossed into the box, headed clear. And Arupa getting it out towards the far sideline. First action for her today.
Kylan Grant there on that back line too, getting ahead to it first. Playing every minute but 5 this season.
Kylan Grant has been so solid for Syracuse in that back line. Defensively, Syracuse have really needed to be solid, especially against the top caliber teams in the ACC. And as we see from a Coach Nicky Adams team that's been so solid defensively, they were really solid in non-conference play. On the attack here, shot from distance, fantastic save by Vanderbosch. The shot from distance from Restovich. And Syracuse clear their lines and have to take a breath. Phenomenal stop from Shea Vanderbosch.
Her feet were set, she measured it up, and then the layout and effort to get there. I mean, the rebounding, bouncing ball to Restovich was one thing, but for her to sprawl out, wow.
On the attack again, Chukwu's there, she goes down. Ball still alive. McDermott getting it forward, only as far as Klenke. Klenke playing it forward. Hudson. Syracuse can't clear their lines and do it this time. What a start from Notre Dame, however, inches away from that opening goal. Shea Vanderbosch had to be aware. That shot from Grace Restovich is going right in the top corner. Lovely turn from Chukwu. God crosses it in. Headed by Anna Croyle. Is Morgan Roy. Plays it off inside. God lays it back into the box. McDermott will look to get it down the line. Does so, but doesn't find a fellow blue shirt.
When you see these possession splits too, at the half, you're going to see just a lot of possession from Notre Dame in the attacking third. Whether they shoot or not, they take their time to find the best possible shot that they can take. We saw that with the Restovich shot. She couldn't have walked over and placed that any better, and Vanderbosch still got to it.
And Notre Dame taking control early, as we really realistically expected to. They've been so dominant in their last few games, but have struggled in ACC play. That 1 win and 2 draws, as that one is deflected into the hands of Shea Vanderbosch. Coach Nicky Adams, she knows how difficult that this week has been for her team. She said that everyone's told her that, like, how difficult these 4 games have been. 4 straight games against ranked opponents. I mean, going into the season, you wouldn't expect that kind of gauntlet, just back to back to back to back of ACC teams. But at the same time, Nicky Adams did say that every game in the ACC is difficult.
She said that she got calls from coaches before the season that said, man, they really gave you a hard one at the beginning of the year, this gauntlet that they've had to face. It keeps on with Notre Dame, a team that, even at home, it feels like it can be an uphill battle against.
Syracuse building out of the back, Anna Croyle and Shea Vanderbosch able to link up nicely. Eva Uribe going up for the header, goes all the way back. Abby Milson is able to reset it now for the Fighting Irish. High tempo start to this game for Notre Dame, starting to settle it down a little bit.
Look for them to play down the wings a lot today. That's what a 3-5-2 allows you to do. Wing backs on either side that can drop back and press high up the field, and they usually choose the latter.
Well, Logan loses out, and now Aaron Fleury can run into her territory. Aaron Fleury gets the ball stuck underneath her. That was a chance of a first counterattack for Syracuse. Doesn't go the way of Aaron Fleury.
And Nick, we talked about it before the game. That's especially important today to have Aaron Fleury be good on those counterattacks and catch Notre Dame without numbers on the back line. She can't get it there, but if Syracuse can keep pressing in that same way and get chances like that, it's only a matter of time before she takes one and rips a shot on goal.
That's what Coach Nate Norman said about his team, is that he was happy with his goalkeepers, but wasn't particularly happy about his back line making individual errors. That's been the result of a few drop points, especially to start ACC play for Notre Dame. We're able to beat number 14 UVA, but that was either side of 2 draws. We mentioned that one against NC State. Also drew 2-2 on the road at Boston College. Their ACC opener. Restovich. Klenke. Shot from distance. Oh! Forced another fantastic save from Van der Bosch. And with that being her second save, that puts her 5th on the all-time Syracuse program list for saves. And what a shot again from outside the box.
Number 255 was a beauty. That sprawling stop, much like the first one, but this one, a lot more ground to cover.
Cross towards the near post, Aaron Fleury was there. St. Clair, signed by Ashley Rauch, who's playing a little bit deeper today in midfield rather than typically leading the line. Eva Uribe's been given that role today. Ashley Rauch stepping a little too high there. Adriano, beautiful switch. Insects cross into the box, the flick on from Ellie Hodson nearly found its way towards goal. Eva Uribe now sprinting away from Matriano. Ashley Rauch sprinting forward, but that ball from Uribe is not going to find a teammate.
You have to give credit to Matriano on the other end for starting that, knowing that you have the numbers advantage on the other side. Switch the field and play to open space, and she did so with a lot of skill there, Nick.
I'll say even in the early going, Notre Dame, they're throwing a lot of numbers forward, but they're leaving themselves a little exposed at the back. That counterattack is not out of the question for Syracuse to start today.
We talked to Nikki Thrasher-Adams a little earlier in the week, too. That's what she harped on, was take advantage of those numbers on the back line because they continue to put so many forward and not worry about the tests that that back three will face.
First corner of the game for Notre Dame. Lenny Matriano will take the set piece, one of the captains of this Notre Dame team. Starting every single game for the Fighting Irish this season. Her cross into the box. First header by McDermott. Volley from distance by Morgan Roy. And McDermott, at the second time of asking, clears it away.
Guys, that's twice. That's twice.
It's been an intense opening few minutes, Hudson. I mean, you have to say Notre Dame have been on the offensive, obviously, but Syracuse have done very well to just maintain the pressure.
The chances are there, Nick, for Syracuse.
Restovich, good challenge from Rauch. Ball comes out to Matriano. Restovich has it again. That one's played to Mensick. She crosses it into the box and it's cleared away again. We might have an injury here for Syracuse on the near side, and a big worry for Ashley Rauch. Holding that left ankle, even the left heel as well, and it's like she just got clipped on their way through. It was a great challenge to stop Grace Restovich at the edge of the area. And Ashley Rauch struggling to get up at the moment, leading the team in goals with 4 this season. Be a huge, huge worry for Coach Nikki Adams on the sideline.
Rauch last year dealing with some injury issues as well, which Coach Thrasher-Adams mentioned. She's battled through a lot of those problems, but having it potentially flare up again this year when she's been so important to the team. I mean, she was one of the anchors in the midfield last year, but now this year it's shown up on the stat sheet, Nick, something we really didn't see last year. she's taken even more of a leadership role now. So you have to lose your leader, especially in a game like this. And that spells disaster for Syracuse.
Started all but one game this season for Syracuse. How important could that be? Not just as a player on the field, but also as a leader for this Syracuse team in a game that is very important in the grand scheme of things. Notre Dame do have a big footing in the NCAA tournament. Syracuse actually sitting in the mid-70s in RPI. They're not out of it yet.
No, not at all. I think, you know, the most important part that Nikki Thrasher-Adams mentioned too is they still have a chance to make the tournament because of RPI and because of the league that they play in. She said there's a couple games down the schedule that they know they have good chances in. You take a win, you take 2 wins in ACC play, your RPI increases and your tournament chances increase. So even though Syracuse right now 0-5 in ACC play, certainly not out of it by any measure.
We'll make sure to stick around for halftime. Kendall Lauer, who has missed most of the season for Syracuse with injury, but that hasn't meant her effect off the field hasn't been any less. Jocelyn there, 10-year-old who's been in contact with Kendall Lauer for much of this season and formed a real connection. We have a very special story at halftime, so you don't want to miss that.
Wearing that number 9 jersey too, Nick.
Absolutely. Kendall Lauer, who got injured last season and has been working her way back. We saw her training earlier and warming up with the team, slowly working her way back. It'll be really, really cool to see.
She's moving well, especially after that knee injury. Obviously, you want to focus on mobility and making sure the mobility is good, but she is moving well at this point, and obviously for her senior season, you know, you'd want to have her back out there. She's experienced, and especially last year, she meant a lot to the team on the wing because of how quick she was. She had a lot more speed than some of the other players up top.
Ashley Rauch now back on her feet, but emotional, as you can see, and applause from the fans here at SU Soccer Stadium. Definite concern for Ashley Rauch, who really gives it her all every single time she steps out onto the pitch. We hope that she will be able to be back on the field very, very soon, and adjustments now need to be made by the Syracuse coaching staff. Substitution will be made now. Kate Murphy will enter the contest in place of Ashley Rauch.
That's just a tough break for Syracuse. Obviously, having Kate Murphy coming off your bench today is still a big help. Murphy dealing with a little bit of a knock throughout the week, but available for today. Having her and that experience off the bench, very important, even if she's not starting. 13 starts this season. It's the only game she hasn't started. She's played a full 90 minutes in all 8 of those, so she's ready to go the full length of the game.
Kate Murphy was a question mark coming into today. Lovely turn into the box. Ball played across goal. Restovich. Ball is still loose. Shea Vanderbosch is able to come and collapse on it.
Restovich had a chance there right in front of the net. A bouncing ball on a very well-played cross. Got a foot to it, but good defense and positioning from Maya McDermott to box out.
Ball slicked on and heading towards the Notre Dame penalty area. Maybe Uribe will decide not to press any higher. Chanting coming from the Notre Dame bench. That's what you love about college sports, women's soccer, the energy that both benches bring. It's the rosters themselves, a big sort of family, you have to say, for not just Notre Dame, not just for Syracuse, but for any team. And about Chukwu sprinting forward. Chukwu still has it. Good defending there for Anna Rupert. Ball still loose. Restovich. Shot from distance, drags it a little bit wide. Grace Restovich has been on fire to start this one, though.
Exactly, early and often for her. 3 goals so far on the season. She's had 9 shots on goal this season and almost looks to double her total at this point. She continues to roll. Those 7 assists to lead the team. She's been one of the main freshman forces behind this team. Izzy Engel has kind of been in and out in terms of production, but Grace Restovich is kind of more of that level playing field in terms of these Fighting Irish freshmen.
Vanderbosch is forced to send it forward. And it goes out of play on the far side.
The best thing for Syracuse, too, to do, even if you don't have possession, because Notre Dame keeps so much of it, fire it in as deep as you can. Try to make that back line make a mistake. There are freshmen playing on that back line that don't have as much experience as an Aaron Fleury or as an Ava Uribe.
Foul's called this time against Delaney Stevens. Obviously, we saw Ashley Rauch make way. She was playing in that holding midfield role. Looks like Gabby Wisberg has moved her way into that central role. Playing a little bit higher up, was playing at left back to start this game. Now Kate Murphy occupies that position. And here is Kate Murphy. Deflected out of play, will be a Syracuse throw. Kate Murphy, like you mentioned, has started all but this game for Syracuse this season. Now in her 5th year with the Syracuse Orange. Another one of those leaders in that back line for Syracuse. Chukwu couldn't keep it in play. Actually, it took a deflection off of a Syracuse player. It'll be another corner for the Irish.
That was a very lackadaisical last-second deflection, too. It didn't seem like anybody on Notre Dame thought they were going to win that corner.
Matriano will cross it in again. Looping towards the back post and actually looped out of play. A little bit of wasted opportunity there from the junior, Lainey Matriano. Multi-sport athlete, played soccer, basketball, and softball in high school. Last season started 16 games for the Irish last season. And with Notre Dame for 3 seasons now, is making a 49th appearance for the team. But it is a very young Notre Dame team. We mentioned off the top, number 4 ranked recruiting class. 22 of their 27 calls this season have come from freshmen. Here is one of those freshmen, Ellie Hodgson, who was in an offside position.
We talked earlier in the week, too, to Coach Nate Norman about those freshmen and the role that they play in this team. Obviously, with that production, like you mentioned, do they take on leadership roles? He said, no, we don't want them to take on leadership roles. When you get to college, you have enough to figure out already. We don't want to have you to lead the team, and that's part of the reason why his recruiting classes have been so successful, especially early on in the season. The expectation coming into the year, they've already exceeded that and more. It's been very impressive from this freshman class.
Head coach Nate Norman has really high standards for his team. Anything but a win, it feels that he's disappointed by. We mentioned what he said about the draw against NC State, and when we asked him, he said it kind of sucked and it was pretty depressing and it wasn't fun. And that was just from a 1-1 draw. That's the expectation of national importance for Coach Norman. He believes his team can beat anyone on any given day. Another offside call again against Ellie Hodgson.
Hudson working on Grant both times, just right up against that back line, but the freshman just moving a little bit too quickly off her shoulder, getting in behind Grant. Grant playing a little bit of a trap and doing it well.
Ellie Hodgson just making her 2nd start of the season for Notre Dame. 3 goals on the campaign already.
See how much they can keep possession here in this attacking half.
Syracuse looking to break forward, first time in Notre Dame territory. McDermott. Still Maya McDermott. Deflects it out of play, wins the first Syracuse corner of the afternoon.
That's very well played by McDermott. Even if you don't have the speed advantage on Morgan Roy, get as far in as you can to at least force a corner or force Roy to make a move, whether that's fouling you or tipping it out of bounds.
Maya McDermott, another one of those players last season who missed all of the 2023 season through injury. Another important piece back for Nikki Adams this season. Aaron Fleury sends over the corner kick for the Orange. It's crossed into the box towards the back post, goes over everybody. Here's Uribe, whips it back into the box. Ball still loose, McDermott onto it. Here's Stevens. Now Uribe, who was in an offside position.
You like the thought, Uribe in space, but obviously just a little bit too much space at that point. She was held on sides, though. A good angle to cross it back in from and potentially get a shot going back the other way on goal with a little bit more power.
Ava Uribe, you mentioned Maya McDermott, who was injured all of last season. Ava Uribe was another one of those who had to sit out all of the 2023 season. It's actually her first season playing college soccer. Didn't play her first season at Penn State. Forced a red shirt. Notre Dame sprinting the other way now. Who's going to win it in midfield? Kate Murphy putting the pressure on. But Notre Dame are able to relax with it and reset. It's Lee Klenke. Chukwu looking to play it in behind. Restovich was running onto it, but Vanderbosch got there first. What we mentioned earlier, Shea Vanderbosch now holds the position of 5th in program history for saves. I mean, since she's come in, she's still got another season to go, at least after this one. I mean, she's come in and made such a big impact in between the sticks for Syracuse.
She certainly has. A goalie who at the beginning of her freshman year, no one really knew, came out of nowhere, took the starting role, a local from Lancaster, New York, and then just took off in that role. We talk about shot stoppers and the ability to drop to your feet, range side to side. That's exactly what Shea Vanderbosch is. She has good positioning, but just great agility and athleticism to get to anything. Top corner, bottom corner, and great footwork, too, to dive on the ground when needed. It's really a complete keeper, and that's one of the reasons Syracuse has kept themselves in a lot of these ACC games, because she has been peppered, facing 96 shots. That's the most in the ACC.
Substitution for Notre Dame. Ellie Ospek has entered the contest. Izzy Engel as well has entered the contest. We talked about her in our open. 10 goals on the season, making her 9th substitute appearance of the season. Leads not just Notre Dame in goals, but is tied for 2nd in the ACC for goals with 10.
The only difference with her, though, no goals in ACC play, no goals in the last month either.
She would certainly like to break that curse today. Uribe shot from distance. Did it take a deflection on the way through? No, it didn't. It will be a goal kick.
Great ball there, Nick, from Stevens. There was a call from a switch on the other side to switch field, but she knew she had Uribe right in the middle. She could slip a ball through and have Uribe get an angle on net. She did just that, a perfectly placed pass. The deflection just takes it offline. Well, rather, not deflection, just misstruck.
Here's Ellie Ospek, her first contribution of the day. That cross towards the penalty area. It's an awkward one for Grant. Engel comes onto it first. Play down the sideline. Engel's shot sails over the crossbar this time. And Izzy Engel is one of those members of the #4 recruiting class coming into this season. And boy, had the freshmen made an impact. 22 of their 27 goals this season have come solely from freshmen. It's truly incredible how this amazing young roster and how good they've been.
And the combination of assists, too. I mean, 12 assists there, specifically looking at Grace Restovich with the 7. They have leaders in goals and assists that are both freshmen, and both can do a little bit of everything. Obviously, Izzy Engel more up top and more of the goal scorer, but she has an ability to, you know, play on that high press and pass a little bit.
Izzy Engel on the press there against Shea Vanderbosch, forced Syracuse goalkeeper to kick it out of play. Frustration on the sideline from Syracuse bench. Going back to Notre Dame freshman, 13 in total on the roster. That's the most in program history. It's Ellie Ospek. Can she keep it in? No, she can't.
You mentioned the 13 freshmen on this team and with how many are producing. I mean, this year, this is a team that, you know, has a chance to make a run in the NCAA tournament. You look 2-3 years down the line, Nick, this is a team that is very, very dangerous to potentially win it all.
Like Coach Norman said, he feels his team could win it on any day. Here's Chukwu. Step over. Chukwu shot off the crossbar. A fantastic effort from Annabelle Chukwu, and the post denies Notre Dame again.
Ooh, what a move from Annabelle Chukwu. Freed herself up in space after a nice cut in. The bar, the only thing stopping her, but she is explosive. Just has not gotten the chance to really show it yet this year because of the service time she had to play with Team Canada Youth National Team.
Let's take a look at that effort again. Annabelle Chukwu with the step overs, and the effort inches away from goal.
My youth soccer coach, Nick, always used to call that the cha-cha-cha. Little 1, 2, 3. I was never very good at the cha-cha-cha.
How many times did you whip that out? Just a few times, a few step overs. I know I certainly did that as a goalkeeper. Never was able to do any step overs in the middle of a game. That shot from distance again, it rattles the crossbar and goes over the crossbar. Charlie Codd. And in the space of just 2 minutes, Notre Dame have hit the crossbar twice.
Wow, this was just a blast from deep. Didn't have the best angle, but you see the curve, the way that ball went in and out. She hit that as a knuckler. If she keeps that down, that is an even better chance to spin a little bit further to one side. Vanderbosch, that would be incredibly hard to read for her. The knuckleball as a goalkeeper is incredibly dangerous, as you know, Nick.
Yeah, Shea Vanderbosch had to just duck there. She was completely beat. Maybe I think she knew exactly where that ball was going, right onto the crossbar. I wanted to make sure it didn't ricochet off of her head into the net. But that's the third time that Notre Dame have struck the post in the opening 20 minutes of this game.
The chances have been there for Notre Dame. Like you said, 3 times hitting the post and a lot of open shots. They've been testing Vanderbosch early. It's not just shots and flurries and random get shots anywhere near the net to start getting them on the net. They've just been playing good, smart soccer and getting everything they can on the net, or at least as close to it. No wasted chances, really.
Chukwu was able to pick it up in midfield. Plays it all the way down the right-hand side. Is Roy's effort. And Shea Vanderbosch had to be alert and tip it over the bar again.
I mean, you just look at the entire play. Chukwu, what a feed. Codd lays it off. A dummy move is what they call that. And then Roy, the blast from outside. Vanderbosch just had to tip it over the bar because that came with so much pace directly at her.
Izzy Engel was waiting for anything to be spilt and pick up the pieces right inside that 6-yard box. Notre Dame knocking on the door more and more. Roy's effort into the box, and another wasted corner by the Fighting Irish, the second straight one.
That's the area where, of anything, they really have to be better. The last one we saw way over the woodwork. This next one, just bouncing it into the ground. It's a good place to take advantage. Obviously, Notre Dame so good in open play, but if you're going to be a team down the line that can really take yourselves deep into the NCAA tournament, you have to be good at those set pieces as well.
Coach Nikki Adams growing a little bit more frustrated on that Syracuse sideline. She might be a bit more excited here. Maya McDermott sprinting away from Mills. And Mills did ever so well to recover. Maya McDermott looked to be right in behind, but Abby Mills did ever so well to force the corner.
Abby Mills just very, very impressive. Obviously, Maya McDermott off the pass from Aaron Fleury. Good into space, but Mills, as a freshman, leads the team in minutes, one of the highly touted recruits on this squad. She gets to the ball before McDermott. She's been locking McDermott up a little bit speed-wise on that sideline.
It's a very good matchup, and we'll surely see that more throughout. Cross by Fleury. Headed away, only as far as McDermott. Her shot from distance, it's looping. And it was a little bit wide of the post, but Sonoma Cassica had to be aware.
You know, I don't mind that, Nick, especially when you're just trying to get something going on offense. You have a chance just outside the box. Why not put a foot to it and see what happens at this point? It's not desperation time. Just try to get your offense in a groove right here. I don't hate that shot at all.
Iziba Ochik. I haven't talked about her much today, and one of those freshmen for Syracuse. We haven't talked about the Notre Dame freshman class, and rightfully so. There are a few more substitutions for the Fighting Irish. Sophia Fisher, one of the ones who entered the contest. Lily Joseph is another. Annabelle Chukwu and Charlie Codd will exit.
For number 7, Annabelle Chukwu.
That's the beauty of this Notre Dame roster. It's just bleeding with talent, and the opportunity for Coach Nate Norman to make changes, certainly a positive. But you have to say, Syracuse, especially compared to last season, are able to do that as well in many respects.
Especially. I mean, this freshman class has really picked it up. You look at the transfers that come in, sure, those have really elevated the team. But on the back line, Ebo Ocheng has been fantastic, and Hannah Croyle, both of those combining as freshmen to start, very impressive.
Restovich look to play Morgan Roy in behind. Ball still up in the air. Wisbeck, foul in the back by Lily Joseph on Wisbeck. It'll be a free kick for Syracuse and a chance for the Orange to take their breath.
Yeah, that elbow of Joseph coming out just a little bit too much as she made contact with the back of Gabby Wisbeck.
Well, Gabby Wisbeck got an elbow to the head in the UNC game about a week ago. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just, I don't know why it is, but all of a sudden she just has elbows flying at her head, maybe a little bit more often than not. But she does get stuck, and she's one of those new freshmen in the Syracuse team. 9 total freshmen on the roster for Syracuse this season.
Maybe it's a magnet, Nick. Who knows?
It's Stevens. Now here is Wisbeck. Lovely turn from Croyle. Syracuse enjoying this piece of possession, but the counter press from Notre Dame works in their favor. Morgan Roy down the right-hand side. She's got options in the center. Deflected cross. Can Vanderbosch keep it in? No, she can't. And it will be another Notre Dame corner.
Good job by Syracuse to at least tip that out in any way. Kate Murphy just kind of waited on that ball a little bit too long, and then Roy cut in front. It allowed for that counterattack to spark. But good catch-up play from Kate Murphy, backtracking and getting a foot in there.
5th corner of the afternoon for Notre Dame. Whipped into the area. Ocheng was there first. Matriano. Restovich tried to play it back out wide, couldn't do so. Syracuse cannot get the counterattack going. You have to say the Notre Dame defense has done ever so well at maintaining Syracuse on the counterattack. Osbeck. Ellie Osbeck gets the better of Ocheng. Osbeck's crossed into the area, and it's the opening goal. Lily Joseph grabs her 4th goal of the season. And Notre Dame have tried and finally broken through that Syracuse defense. And the Fighting Irish are in front.
You want to talk about a play from Ellie Osbeck working down that wing. Ocheng in a blender steps by her, ball on the ground, perfect place for Joseph to get to it, steps right in front of Wisbeck. All she had to do was redirect it on goal, and now Nikki Thrasher-Adams having a conversation with Ocheng, her young freshman who just got burned on that play. But it's really tough against a Fighting Irish team that just has so much speed.
You mentioned that great run from Ellie Osbeck. She's one of the most experienced players on the entire roster, the grad student, making a 75th appearance for Notre Dame today. Grabbing her 2nd assist of the season. But Lily Joseph, another one of those freshmen that has made an immediate impact.
4 goals for her already, 3 assists. That her 9th shot on goal. You look at a team that has really high totals. Notre Dame had was tied for the most double-digit points getters of any team with BYU.
Wow.
Which is a program on top
Absolutely.
of the country, at least last year. So this is a team that has a lot of ability to spread things around as they start things off quickly.
Lily Joseph gets right back onto it.
If you normally go in around the 10, stay and do a little bit.
Fleury is able to win it in midfield. And she kickstart the counter-attack. Is forced to go back. Once again, the counter press from Notre Dame working efficiently. Restovich. Matriano. Now Klenke. Osbeck nearly lost her footing, was able to stay. Here Klenke. Beautiful ball in. Restovich. Joseph again! And Joseph spectacularly! 2 goals in next to no time for the freshman. And that second one was absolutely glorious. This freshman class is insane for Notre Dame. Lily Joseph putting on a show here in Syracuse.
I know the number is number 4 recruiting class. That just simply cannot be with the talent on this team. Vanderbosch upset with her defense, just kind of falling asleep at the wheel. Erin Fleury had Lily Joseph directly in front of her, did not step, just kind of shepherded her further. Joseph winning the speed matchup and taking the angle, and now again on the press from Notre Dame.
What a fantastic goal by Lily Joseph. 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. And Notre Dame are on the counter-attack again. Cross this time is headed clear by Anna Rupert. Syracuse stunned at the moment.
And you can't hang your head once you have a goal or 2 hung on you. That's how you get that second goal there, by playing just a little bit slower behind the play and not focusing. And Shea Vanderbosch very mad at her back line for that. Just allowed an open angle from obviously one of the best shooters on this team, and that is saying a lot.
Oh, coming onto it, Shea Vanderbosch got there just ahead of Izzy Engel. I mean, Izzy Engel, who has come off the bench and just provided that firepower immediately. Shea Vanderbosch did ever so well to come off her line, though.
Engel quick, Vanderbosch just a little bit quicker. Dangerous play, though, in terms of putting yourself in harm's way, but she's shown that that doesn't bother her at all now. Right now for Syracuse, on the offensive end, when you're just trying to get something going, it's clear that you cannot beat this Notre Dame team with speed. The counterattack is the biggest thing with that back 3 that they play, but don't try to build up from the back with speed. Try to get it as forward each pass as you can. Don't beat them with speed, but build slowly.
Restovich. Can Notre Dame make it 3 before halftime? Wisbeck gets the touch away, but right back into the feet of Notre Dame. Lisa Lawton, who has just come on for Syracuse, able to reset the play. And Akroa can't find an opening. Ibe Ochin gets caught on it again. Ellie Osbeck. Engel in the middle. Osbeck still running. Engel is there. Oh, she missed it. Of all people, you expect Izzy Engel to score from that distance with that much goal to aim for.
Just the positioning that she had. Obviously, Osbeck taking it as far to the line as she can, but just off balance and flat-footed from Izzy Engel. She can't turn her body to put the right foot out first. Instead, opts for the left, which curls it a little bit further. And that ACC streak of no games with a goal for Izzy Engel continues. Again, 10 goals on the season, none of them coming in ACC play so far. I mean, that was a tap-in.
I'd say that is a sitter. Izzy Engel, like you mentioned, hasn't scored in ACC play, hasn't scored in the last 3 games. She started the last 2 games against UVA and NC State, was not able to get on the score sheet. And that was the moment to break her ACC duck.
That's one of the ones where if you don't see it go in there, the drought just gets even worse for you mentally. I say drought, I mean 10 goals to start off your really freshman year is not really a drought, but in comparison to what we know she can do, I guess it technically is a drought. And just miscommunication there by Syracuse to allow this Notre Dame counter to keep going.
Osbeck drives inside. Osbeck shot from distance is comfortable for Vanderbosch. 12 shots now for Notre Dame. With 11 minutes to go in the first half, are cruising. Syracuse did so well to maintain that pressure. Notre Dame came close many times, hit the post 3 times. In the end, in the space of 3 minutes, Notre Dame, and specifically Lily Joseph, scored twice. And Notre Dame continued to put on the pressure. Osbeck, her shot into the area. And Shea Vanderbosch collapses on it once again.
I mean, you can look at Lily Joseph as kind of leading this team right now, especially on the stat sheet with those 2 goals. But those have been facilitated by Ellie Osbeck. This left wing has just been all Notre Dame, really, this entire game. And ever since Ellie Osbeck checked in, it's only gotten more of a difference as a shanked punt from Vanderbosch.
You mentioned Ellie Osbeck in her 5th year for Notre Dame this season. Now has 9 assists in her Notre Dame career. 2nd of the season. And you mentioned just how explosive she has been down this left-hand side. And Eba Oching, who throughout the season has been praised and has done excellently in her first collegiate season, but has really struggled to maintain the pace of Ellie Osbeck.
And it's just a tough matchup for Oching, a freshman trying to guard a grad student who's one of the more explosive on one of the best teams in the country.
Oching trying to start that Syracuse counterattack. Delaney Stevens gets closed down by Engel. Syracuse trying to work their way around that Notre Dame midfield. Aaron Fleury. McDermott keeps it in play, but loses out.
Syracuse just getting out-physicaled there, too. Maya McDermott pushed off the ball, but we've seen it, especially down the wings, trying to get crosses in. Just more speed, more physicality for Notre Dame today. That's been the name of the game, especially on their defensive end.
Ball in behind. Kate Murphy does well, and Shea Vanderbosch couldn't keep it in. And it's not just the pace down the left, it's the pace down the right from Morgan Roy as well, causing havoc for Kate Murphy down that right-hand side. 2 more substitutions as well for Notre Dame coming into the game. Chase Ying as well as KJ Ronan will enter the contest, excuse me.
Nick, we talked about it earlier. We knew these wings were going to be a problem with that formation. The 3-5-2 allows those wing backs on either part of that 5 in the midfield to play all the way up and down the pitch.
Cross into the area, headed clear by McDermott. Lily Joseph on a hat trick. Lily Joseph again. Couldn't wrap her foot around it this time.
You know, Nick, it's like basketball. When you're hot, you just keep shooting. Sometimes you want to take a 35-foot three. Well, you know, you got to calm it down a little bit. Lily Joseph got herself a little shred of daylight, but might have been a smarter play to lay off. That combination.
Oh, excuse me.
No worries, no worries.
No, I just wanted to mention that just under 8 minutes to go in this first half. I mean, we've seen good things from Syracuse, but Notre Dame have just been that extra step above. No,
they really have been. It's the press, it's the physicality, and it really is just a recruiting mismatch here when you look at the pure talent on the field. It's a tough matchup for Syracuse, who honestly, in most aspects of the game, has played very well. It's just sometimes falling asleep at the wheel on that back line in crucial situations.
Make sure to stay tuned for our ACC Network halftime report with Carson Fowler and Ailey Weiss. We're back in our Newhouse studios, eagerly waiting to break down the opening 45 minutes between Notre Dame and Syracuse. There's certainly a lot to talk about. Notre Dame really picking up where they've tried to leave off in non-conference play. Syracuse, who haven't been able to break down that midfield. Substitution for Syracuse. Vida Nyhin comes into the game for Syracuse for a 14th substitute appearance. Vida Nyhin and Lida Nyhin, 2 twins on this Syracuse team. Good pressure there from Eba Oching, but couldn't get it back towards one of her teammates.
And for Coach Adams, and you have to refresh those legs really as much as you can when you're dealing with a speed mismatch and your defense, your back line is getting gassed, your midfield is getting out physical. You have to continue to substitute to make sure fresh legs come in the game. That's why the substitution there could be pretty important against the Notre Dame midfield that really has not seen a whole lot of change. It's mostly been the forward spots.
Yeah, this Notre Dame roster has been interchanged throughout the opening 45 minutes by Coach Norman, and a few of those substitutions, Lily Joseph and Ellie Osbeck, who have made major impacts in this game so far. Here is Osbeck. Connects with Joseph again. Trino. Syracuse defense playing a little bit of a higher line and able to cut it out. Auden. Can McDermott keep it in? No, she can't.
That was the right idea, though. Don't go ahead of yourself. Build up through the backfield through combo passing. You don't have to outspeed anybody on this Notre Dame team, because you won't. Just play it smart and build from the back as much as you can. Try to catch Notre Dame off guard at least once and put one in the back of the net.
Joseph. It finds Fisher. Now Osbeck. Up against Oching again. Osbeck gets the better of Oching. Grant was able to just get it away from the 6-yard box. And McDermott can clear only as far as Klinke. Headed on by Fisher. Joseph comes onto it again. Leah Klinke. Leah Klinke gets the cross into the area at the back post. It was Charlie caught it. Excuse me, KJ Ronan. And not too far away. That was a great ball in by Leah Klinke, who has just come back from the U20 World Cup in Colombia.
Ronan there just flying through the air to that back post. Not much Kate Murphy can do. Earlier in that possession, though, for Notre Dame, you got to credit Kylan Grant for matching up with the depth that Osbeck played towards that back line. She kept her footing exactly where Osbeck was, knowing from earlier crosses that she had played, it's going to come on the ground. I have to be there to get it so that nobody is back post and they don't have a situation like Izzy Engel being wide in front of goal.
Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Notre Dame lead by 2. Both goals coming from Lily Joseph. Nicholas Whaley and Hudson Ridley still with you on ACC Network Extra. And it's been an interesting contest. It's been evident of how good this Notre Dame team is, not just today in the ACC, but shows that they're nationally relevant and in the conversation for one of those teams that could make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. And it's just the firepower that this Notre Dame team has had. It's been so impressive.
Again, this is against a Syracuse team that still has a solid chance to make the tournament in terms of RPI rankings. They are nowhere near out of it yet, but just another tough ACC matchup.
4th straight ranked matchup in the ACC for Syracuse, coming off of 3 back-to-back-to-back teams in the top 8. First it was against, at that time, number 2 Florida State on the road. Then it was number 8 UNC, where Syracuse arguably should have had a point in that game. Controversial penalty call didn't go the way of the Orange. And then last time out in the ACC play against Wake Forest. Izzy Engel, that looked like it hit her hand. Referee says no. Izzy Engel, her shot was dragged a little bit wide. Izzy Engel gets her first shot, second shot I should say, of the afternoon.
Neither of them on goal, and on that ball settled down by Engel, just trying to control her body and get in front of it. It knocks off the bottom of her right into the arm, but just on the underarm, and not enough to blow the whistle there in that case.
In the end, Engel couldn't capitalize on that one. Under 2 minutes to go now in the opening 45. What do you think Coach Nikki Adams will say to her team at halftime?
Well, right now, I mean, 2 goals is not fully insurmountable, but with the way that the passing has been, it almost feels insurmountable. They just have to play smarter passes and more consistent passes so that there's not bouncing balls that people have to deal with on counterattacks and things that really just slow down the offensive identity of this team. Play smarter passes, play more controlled, and play with a little bit more aggression.
And Syracuse at least half the lead before halftime. Here's Auden. Liesl Auden still has it, gets fouled. And with 60 seconds on the clock, Syracuse have a free kick in a very promising position. They need to start getting ready for this free kick quickly, however.
Laney.
Yeah, I was going to say Liesl Auden just did ever so well to keep hold of the ball.
And then Laney Matriano coming in from behind. Does get a touch to the ball, but plays the body first of Liesl Auden and takes her down.
practically everybody at the edge of that penalty area for Syracuse. Aaron Fleury stands over the free kick. 51 seconds on the clock. Fleury floats it into the area, headed only as far as Wisbeck. Can she get control? She did get control and forced a decent save from Sonoma Kasika.
What a strike off the left foot of Wisbeck. A touch to make sure it doesn't go too far past her. Then falling off balance, finding that upper left corner. Kasika just beats her there.
That was going in. Not too far away. 20 seconds to go. Crossed in by Fleury, punched by Kasika. Whipped back into the area. Ball still loose. Who comes up with it? Notre Dame do. 10 seconds. Can they break away quickly? And Syracuse get it back into the box. Iba Oching with the header. Delaney Stevens from distance took a deflection, and that will end the first 45 minutes. 2 goals to the good for them, getting in position for the second 45 minutes on a beautiful day here at SC Soccer Stadium. Work to do for the Orange, but for the Irish, just looking to cruise. Back underway for the second half. Gabby Wisbeck has now been put to left back, and Fleury been put into that more central role for Syracuse.
2 new players, 2 here in the second half that we did not see in that first half. Sierra Collins getting her first action, as well as Allie Fouts. Those 2 making their first action. Sierra Collins hasn't played since the game against St. Bonaventure almost a month ago on September 8th.
We saw both of them warming up during half-time as well. Notre Dame already putting on the pressure. That pulls into the area. Chukwu's there. Couldn't get better contact on it, and Shea Vanderbush already has her first touches of the second half.
Kylan Grant there just playing with her head down, got it stripped.
Hudson's cross. Referee on the near side says it went out of play. It will be a Syracuse goal kick.
Didn't really scan the field off that back line for Grant. Didn't have a whole lot of places to go, but her keeping that head down allowed Hudson to track back quick enough to step in there and kind of force a little bit of discomfort from Kylan Grant.
Kylan Grant there has played more minutes than anybody for this Syracuse team this season. Has been stalwart at center back. And for a Syracuse defense that has really held its own in many respects in ACC play. One behind.
I mean, you're right, Nick. She's been an anchor. In the last 3,060 minutes, guess how many she's missed?
Not many.
5.
Wow, that's incredible.
In a game that was already well out of hand against St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, Kylan Grant making her 51st consecutive start, 54th career start against Wake Forest last time out, making this her 52nd. There's Julia Denning on the far side. Another one who has come in for the second half for Syracuse. You mentioned Allie Fouts has also entered the contest for Syracuse for the start of this second half. Fresh legs for Nikki Adams' squad.
You have to wonder how deep into the bench Notre Dame is going to go, too. This is a chance to get some of your younger players. Obviously, their younger players are playing, so I guess you could say more inexperienced players a little bit of time in ACC competition.
Here is Allie Faust on the right-hand side, loses out this time. Grace Restovich worked the ball around in midfield. Charlie Codd puts it down the sideline. Iba Oching loses out this time to Morgan Roy. That cross into the area. Hodson is there. Drops to the back post. Codd at the edge of the area. Charlie Codd. Oh, it's off the crossbar again. Is it over the line? It is this time. Ellie Hodgson on the line, made sure it hit the back of the net. And just 3.5 minutes into the second half, Notre Dame have their third.
Nothing Shea Vanderbosch can do there. You see her just a little bit defeated. Hodson off the feed from Codd, and then Hodson taps it in. But Codd off the bottom of the bar, just bouncing on that line, and Hodson cleaning up loose change. Not much you can do if you're Vanderbosch, because nobody's tracking back to get that ball once it hits the bottom of the bar.
Took a deflection, and that's probably what caused it to go onto the crossbar. For the third time today, Notre Dame has hit the top bar of the woodwork. We'll have to see if that ball did cross the line from the initial shot.
Nick, to me, it didn't look like it did. It looked like it bounced on the line, bounced into the back of Vanderbosch, and then stayed on that line. The only thing that got it across was the pressure from Hodson to officially tip it in.
Might be a little inter-team argument there of who will get that goal, whether it'll be Charlie Codd or Ellie Hodgson. Either way, Notre Dame, 3 goals to the good, and have started the second 45 minutes right where they left off the first.
Not a bad problem to have if you're Notre Dame in that case, arguing over a goal on the stat sheet. Codd already has one on the year, and Hodson in her freshman year already has 3. You could make it 4.
Maybe Annabelle Chukwu could get on the action. She's got Restovich in the penalty area. Chukwu going herself, and Shea Vanderbosch saves it onto the crossbar again. This Notre Dame defense, attack, excuse me, is just ripping the Syracuse defense apart.
You see just a lackadaisical pass, no communication. Chukwu cuts it off. So much green grass ahead of her. A nice move on Collins to free herself, but Vanderbosch in perfect position.
Mintzek into the area. And another opportunity for Notre Dame. This time, Grace Restovich couldn't keep the ball down this time. And Notre Dame have, in the last 3 or 4 minutes, have had about 3 or 4 good opportunities, and one of them they converted.
These shots just keep coming. By the time we're done talking about one shot, the next shot comes at this point. The high press up the field has made so much of a difference, but the technical ability, too, of the wings. You look at Roy and Chukwu combined with Osbeck. I mean, a lot of good footwork and keeping that ball on a string away from Syracuse defenders.
Notre Dame on the attack again. Was a little bit behind Mintzek there. Gabby Wisbeck wins it off of Berkeley Mintzek. Forces it out of play. It'll be a Notre Dame throw.
Great positioning by Wisbeck. Knew she didn't have the advantage in terms of speed, so she cuts a little bit further inside on her line and takes one where she won't allow a cutback angle.
Charlie Codd, she's got space at the top of the area. Codd again! Forces another save from Vanderbosch. And vocally screaming is Vanderbosch, frustration at her team in front of her, but Charlie Codd getting so much space at the top of the D.
Fleury just overcommitting there. Didn't have a chance to track back and close that gap before Codd fired off his shot. This has just been a masterclass, though, from Shea Vanderbosch in goal in terms of diving and stopping shots that are a little bit out of the range of basically every goalkeeper in the country.
20 shots now in total for Notre Dame. Syracuse only have 4. 7 saves in total for Vanderbosch. Just couldn't keep it down, but boy, she did rise ever so high to get her head onto that one.
The elevation, the air's got to be thinner up there where Annabelle Chukwu went. Just could not keep the header down. She's not the tallest player at 5'7", but she really rose up.
That is something impressive vertical from the freshman from Canada. Ooh. Chaos there at the back. Sonoma Cassica. It was redirected off of Abby Mills at center back. And Syracuse miraculously will have a corner kick, and nearly ended up being an own goal.
That's a Looney Tunes play right there. You hit it off of your back line, not expecting it to come back at you. Shot whizzes by you all of a sudden.
I'm still waiting for the Space Jam Soccer Edition.
Oh, I would love that. Who would you have in your Space Jam Soccer Edition?
It's got to be Ronaldo, don't you think?
I would say Messi in this case.
Oh, Messi, yeah. Aaron Fleury whips it in at the back post, and then easily collected by Sonoma Cassica.
Although, Nick, to that point, I don't think Messi would be a great on-screen presence.
Don't get me wrong, best player ever, but
Not a lot of charisma.
Yes, exactly. Like maybe Ronaldo, Jude Bellingham, maybe could do it. Maybe we could even think of someone on the pitch right now.
That's your England bias right there.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe see Aaron Fleury be the lead in the role as well, possibly.
Shea Vanderbosch, why not?
Vanderbosch. Is the angle as well, maybe for Notre Dame, and that one's crossed in, and there is Vanderbosch who collects it again.
Here we go, Iron!
Get that in production.
Oh, Gabby Wisbeck didn't get the right control, and Notre Dame have it back once again. That's what Syracuse definitely can't afford to do at this stage, is just giving the ball away carelessly.
As cliche as it is, you have to keep your head in the game. That's a prime example of just letting the game not come to you instead of taking it to the game. In that place, you just have to settle down, lock in, and focus on the task at hand of settling that ball down and getting it upfield.
Chukwu still going. Restovich. Nearly everyone behind the ball for Syracuse at the moment. Logan. Restovich. Restovich, curling effort. And it wasn't too far away, but Shea Vanderbosch seemed pretty calm about that one this time.
Boy, that had some side-to-side movement. Good turnaround by her, working on Grant, gets to space, and then striking it on the very outside of the ball with her left, curling end over end, just could not get enough movement. The initial shot, again, just placed a little too high into the outside, but the idea to curl it around Vanderbosch, who, if you put it on a line, might get there, it's a good idea.
Seen a couple very impressive ACC wins this weekend. We saw Wake Forest 4-1 win over FSU, the reigning national champions. But this is also an impressive one for Notre Dame against a Syracuse team that has given tough contests to the likes of Wake Forest and UNC. But in the way that Notre Dame have been able to dominate this game, should put the rest of the conference on watch. That was a late challenge from Sierra Collins. And it certainly will be a yellow card for the senior transfer from Mississippi State. And it's impressive. I believe that was Morgan Roy on the left-hand side, able to get back to her feet so quickly.
Yeah, she goes for ball, but just overshoots it and then ends up playing the body of Roy. Obviously, if she gets to that ball, that's the right idea. Try to cut it off, not let them continue to play down these wings, but just couldn't do so successfully.
And deflected cross, and it will be another Notre Dame corner kick, their 8th of the afternoon.
Well, one thing Notre Dame has not done particularly well is get pressure on these corners. We did see the last one go to Chukwu and her get a good head on it, but before that, it's been a lot of mishits from both sides.
Towards the penalty area, and Eva Oching did well to get her head to it first. Restovich. Mensik, Aaron Fleury makes the crucial interception to force another corner.
Good touch there by Aaron Fleury to get it out. Nick, that's where I'd like Syracuse, though, to continue the pressure up. Oching held back to not really get out of position, but at this point, down 3-0, there's not much to lose. Keep a higher press on and maybe get a quick counter.
Laney Matriano whips it again towards the area. Chukwu was there. Charlie Codd back into the area and just skips behind Shea Vanderbosch's goal. Will be a goal kick this time.
That shot was a lot closer than it looked off the foot. A floating ball that just kind of died in the air, and the trajectory that it took just kept coming closer and closer down towards that crossbar.
It's about 12 and a bit minutes gone in the second half, between Notre Dame and Syracuse. Nicholas Whaling, Hudson Ridley with you, and we are witnessing a very dominant Notre Dame display so far. Syracuse have had one or two opportunities, but it really has been all Fighting Irish so far in this game. Chukwu. Lovely men's stick. Cross to the back post. Eva Oching heads it clear. Ali Faust this time fouls Leah Klenke there. Ali Faust making her 4th substitute appearance of the season for Syracuse. It's giving away a free kick in a dangerous position here.
Look for Chukwu at that back post. We saw the elevation she got earlier.
Goes right towards her. Chukwu's there, and her header inches wide. What a run from Annabelle Chukwu again.
I mean, again, you see it. That's the #1 target they have to have on these corners. Acceleration to get through the middle, and then a nice touch. Obviously, you don't want to play it straight on to Vanderbosch. If she's in the middle of the net, bounce it low, and it just went a little wide. But the idea was there from Chukwu, and the execution was nearly there.
Asia Cobb will come into the contest for the first time today, replacing Vida Nyhin. Morgan Roy down the left-hand side. Up against Oching. Morgan Roy from distance. And that one sails over the crossbar. The shots keep piling up for the Fighting Irish.
And if you put that ball on a highway, it might get pulled over for speeding. That's how hard it was struck. A missile off the foot of Roy once she found space, just could not keep it contained on frame.
I wish I could come up with the analogies that you have, Hudson. It's just limitless, I have to say. It's so impressive.
It's a weird brain, I'll tell you that. It's weird to live in it.
Here's Aaron Fleury. Syracuse pressing forward. Fleury. Julia Denning from distance. Oh, and it wasn't far away. Julia Denning, who's already scored once this season, nearly found another just a little wide of the post.
And this is what you want from Syracuse. Smart passing. Fleury cuts it back without an angle. Nobody playing Roy in the midfield. Just a little bit too far and to the right, but a good idea by Syracuse to get open shots. No matter where they're from, you have to start taking advantage. If you start taking shots from that distance, though, Aaron Fleury is really the one you want taking it. Last year, you saw her score a lot of beautiful goals from outside the box.
And that's part of that 3 at the back formation for Notre Dame, and that's what Coach Nikki Adams said is the risk and reward for Notre Dame, how they play, because occasions like this, they can get numbers forward quickly. Jay Vanderbosch has to come out and is able to collect the ball comfortably. Izzy Engel once again putting the pressure on that Syracuse back line.
And that's just falling asleep in the midfield again. Aaron Fleury wanted the call there, and Wisbeck just kind of stopped waiting for that call as well. That allowed the attacking play of Notre Dame to come right up through the middle and play on Izzy Engel. The pressure, though, on a little bit more for Syracuse in the last few minutes.
Denning battling with Matriano. Ooh. Looked as if Matriano maybe threw an arm out there. Julia Denning was forced to crouch down. A little bit of pain. We're going to have a video review here, possibly for violent conduct. Well, a little bit of a twist in the tail of this game. Julia Denning really feeling the pain. Elbow looked like as if in the chest area. Looks like she'll be okay to continue, but the referee has called both coaches over. There it is. We'll have a look at the video review. And new in the ACC and NCAA this season, the video review, the opportunity to look back at decisions that weren't called on the field. But it has to be 110% certain for the referee to either overturn a decision or not. Let's take a look at it.
Exactly. That's why the call on the field is so important. Very close to the back. Just holding on to that back. And you can see kind of the hand at the end, the left hand of Matriano coming up, but in my opinion, Nick, I don't think this will be enough to constitute any violent conduct, especially with the call on the field. Tough to see from that angle. She does get clipped, it looks like, by the hand, but no elbow appears to come up, and almost just a shove off from Matriano.
I guess the question is, did it happen after the fact? Was it a lashing out from Lainey Matriano? This might be our best view of it.
You can see there, just getting it away from Matriano. Now the ball's away. They come together. Her momentum takes her back, and you can see a little bit of physicality on a shove away from Matriano.
She did lift her right arm. You saw that there. I mean, it would be a big decision for the referee. Could it be a yellow or a red? We'll have a confirmation. It looks like a decision has been made, and it looks as if nothing will happen on this occasion. There will be a drop ball for Notre Dame.
Both sides still waiting to find out. Again, even if it is a little bit of emotion in a violent manner, it really was not enough to classify that as anything out of the ordinary.
Here's the official word.
So after review, there's nothing there. We just got to drop all the white. Okay. So after review, no foul, just drop ball.
And audible reaction from the crowd. Not very happy with it.
Nikki Thrasher-Adams, very expressive, not saying anything, but the emotion on her face, wide-eyed and surprised at that call.
It's a face that speaks 1,000 words, you have to say.
They really do.
And Coach Nikki Adams is one of those coaches, just wears her feelings on her face. She is very expressive, very passionate on the sideline as well, and she's done an incredible job this season. Last year was so difficult, not just for her, for the whole team. Going 2-14-2 in 2023, certainly a difficult season. And after the height of 2022, been able to bounce back here in 2024 has been impressive. Charlie Cogg couldn't find Annabelle Chukwu there. And Notre Dame men's soccer are also in town tonight. Syracuse take on the Fighting Irish at 7 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network. Extra should be a fun one. Notre Dame coming into the game with 4 straight wins and coming off of a win against the national champions Clemson just 2 games ago. Syracuse looking for that first win in conference play after dropping the 2-1 defeat to Wake Forest last week.
And Nick, that Notre Dame team, 4 wins in a row, just outside of being ranked. Wouldn't surprise to see if they take down the Orange, them finding their way into the top 25.
Ailey mentioned it at halftime, the competitive nature of both the men's and women's teams for Notre Dame. Obviously, number 17th ranked women's team, and a Notre Dame men's team that was receiving votes, and I say votes, a vote in the most recent United Coaches Soccer Poll.
A vote is a vote.
A vote is a vote. It looks as if Notre Dame will be knocking on the door of the top 25 once again very soon. 7-1 in their last win, in their last game against Division III team of Trine in Indiana for the men's team. It'll be a fascinating contest tonight. Ali Faust did well to win it in midfield, but couldn't find Aaron Fleury, who's playing the number 9 role, playing and trying to lead the line for Syracuse. And she has really struggled in midfield in the first 45 minutes. I mean, it's been very difficult for her to get control of that midfield because Notre Dame keeps slicing through, but this time Chukwu's pass couldn't find Izzy Engel.
A good job there by Sierra Collins as well. Obviously, Chukwu, a great move to turn the corner. Collins was beat, but instead of, hanging up and letting someone else trying to get it, she backtracked, got the inside shoulder on Chukwu, forced Chukwu to make a pass, one that she just played a little bit too far for Engel.
Kept in play by Asia Cobb. Notre Dame have it back this time. Great ball in. Grace Restovich, that's into the area. What a save by Van der Bosch. Point blank range. Annabelle Chukwu charging in. Shea Van der Bosch again saving the orange.
Grace Restovich looking for assist number 8 on the season. It's a beautifully played ball. Bouncer in front, and the deflection that then goes off of Collins. Van der Bosch is there to meet it. We talk about her shot-stopping ability all the time in her range, but how about her positioning on that one? Knows where the touch is going to be on the inside from Chukwu, puts her body in front of it before the fact, so that when it happens, she's already there.
Cross towards the near post. Erin Fleury heads it clear. And once again, Shea Van der Bosch showcasing her talents for this Syracuse team and why she's one of the best goalkeepers in the ACC. Cross back into the area. Sierra Collins gets her head to it first. It's deflected. Ali Faust, there to at least force a throw.
Ali Faust playing with a lot of intensity after getting subbed into. That's something you want to see. High motor from your fresh legs. A lot of the Syracuse team, though, just kind of gassed, it seems, almost, especially Erin Fleury. She's had to do so much on both ends of the field.
Cross into the area. Ball is loose. Chukwu, and another save by Van der Bosch. Tenth save of the afternoon for Shea Van der Bosch. And that will be a season high for the Syracuse goalkeeper. Possibly 2 saves there as well.
Body on the line consistently for Van der Bosch. It's just a mix of everything. We talked about the shot stopping earlier, just moments ago, the positioning. Now the grit. I mean, at this point, Shea Van der Bosch is kind of the complete goalie. She has kept Syracuse in this game at 3-0.
Over 5 saves per game. That's her 10th on the day. And beating her season high that she had at Florida State with 9. And that just shows you not just how influential she has been today, but also just how dominant this Notre Dame attack has been.
On her career, too, 5.6 saves per game. That's the highest for an SU career average of all time. On top of names like Lizzie Ann Prue and Courtney Brosnan. Those are goalies that were in the most recent Women's World Cup. Brosnan with Ireland, and then again, Prue with Canada.
It's truly impressive to see the list of Syracuse goalkeepers that have just made it to the professional ranks. Shea Van der Bosch will no doubt be in that conversation, maybe if not this year, then the next, to go up towards the NWSL, and we'll see what happens then. Abby Wisbeck does well to force it out of play. Berkeley Mensick once again putting the pressure on the right-hand side. Notre Dame have really been pushing on the right-hand side.
A game of cat and mouse there, too, between Wisbeck and Mensick. Wisbeck tried to hold back, catch Mensick maybe in an offside position. Mensick held back, too. But a good job by Wisbeck to just hold up, position herself well, and knock it out of bounds. Let her defense regroup.
Mensick lost her footing, and Syracuse can try and break forward. But once again, great recovery by the Fighting Irish. Andy Mills sending it forward, and it will trundle its way into the SU penalty area. Van der Bosch will collect.
Onward, fam.
This is a matchup for Syracuse that's just always been tough historically for the Orange.
Only 1 draw in 18 games between Notre Dame and Syracuse. Only draw came in September of 2016. It was a 1-1 on that occasion. Notre Dame have won 5 straight against the Orange. Two teams that played each other in the Big East days, now transitioned over to the ACC.
An 18-game unbeaten run for Notre Dame against Syracuse. It's just been tough for the Orange to crack through.
AJ Cobb, nice turn in midfield. No foul. Logan. Grace Restovich. Cod. Now Izzy Engel. Cod again. Ellie Osbeck, who did well to control it initially, battling with Iba Oching. Oching this time containing the grad student.
Just a great sequence there by
Fantastic.
Oching. We've seen Osbeck all day get in position to get around Oching, not that time.
Engel on the turn. Izzy Engel's there, but Shea Vanderbosch once again gets ahead of the freshman. And Izzy Engel still waits for that first ACC goal.
That's a veteran move from the freshman. Wow, Kylan Grant had her stunned. Body on the line from Shea Vanderbosch, sliding in to get to that ball. But a great move and a great turnaround to get around a very experienced center back in Kylan Grant. You do not see that happen often.
Very long punt by Shea Vanderbosch as well. Wisbeck battling against Mensick. Wisbeck arguably won the battle, but had to force a throw. Gabby Wisbeck, who's played every minute tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, done ever so well. Two substitutions for both teams as well. Julia Koval will enter the contest for Syracuse, because Maya McDermott will re-enter as well. Lily Joseph comes into the game for Notre Dame, scored 2 goals in that's part of 90 seconds in the first half. Currently on a hat trick. Ball over the top. Sierra Collins comes onto it. Ball's a little bit short, but Shea Vanderbosch is able to send it as far away as possible.
That bouncing ball, nearly a disaster, but Collins does well working on an island against a top 5 goal scorer in the country.
Chukwu, ball in behind. This time it was too far away from Engel.
Collins, too, doesn't have that size advantage on Engel. Collins at just 5'3", Engel at 5'9". Fast and physical. But the positioning from Collins is what's been taking her to that extra level.
Sierra Collins, who, as we mentioned before, transferred from Mississippi State, never got a chance to play for the Bulldogs. Playing in her first collegiate season.
That's a Mississippi State team that's now top 10 in the country.
Wisbeck. Denning. Can't hold on to it. And Logan knocks it out of play. She was calling for a Notre Dame throw. Fleury. Aaron Fleury. Julia Koval. Now Iba Oching. Oching from distance. Couldn't wrap her foot around it and got under it this time.
Good play by Fleury to leave off. Even though she was in a crowd of bodies, I'm surprised she didn't take a shot. We saw a lot of Fleury taking shots from outside the 18 last year, because that was a lot of the offense that Syracuse generated in kind of a stagnant offense dealing with some injuries. Now this year they've had the chance to play a lot more connected soccer, but that's one of the times where Aaron Fleury might just want to wind back the clock and say, hey, we're down 3-0, let me have a go.
Aaron Fleury has been put in a number of positions a little bit more recently. That was a hard foul. And Morgan Roy on Aaron Fleury. It will be a free kick for the Orange. Aaron Fleury playing higher up the pitch in the second half. There will be a yellow card for Morgan Roy. Second yellow card of the afternoon. First for Notre Dame. Here we'll take a look at that foul again.
Fleury has played everywhere over the pitch. Roy coming in hard. The foul that ended up getting her the yellow card, and Fleury was not happy about that, showing a little retaliation. But now looks like we'll have a look over from the center official.
Our second review of the second half, second review of the day. We'll see if it looks to be if it is again for violent conduct.
Yellow card is issued to Notre Dame's number 23, Morgan Roy, in the 74th minute.
We're going to check to see if there's any violent behavior after the foul.
So what they're checking for here, Aaron Fleury responded to that foul by either extending a foot or throwing some kind of foot out against Morgan Roy, which the assumption is that is what they're checking for here.
I mean, but do you not think it was Morgan Roy who went after she got up from the foul? And
It could also be Morgan Roy, too.
we have to look at that again. And it's the second time this season, if it is for Aaron Fleury, second time this season a Syracuse player has taken to video review because of it. Shea Vanderbosch in the first game against UMass.
You see her go to ground there. Roy kept the hands on her a little bit long, but then you see the foot of Fleury come up against Morgan Roy. Fleury, it's been a frustrating game for the Orange, just kind of letting tempers flare. And at that moment with Roy especially finishing the tackle hard and pushing Fleury a little bit towards the turf, that could come back to bite the Orange in terms of that cleat just putting it up into the leg of Roy.
And we've seen it not just in the college ranks, but professional ranks. If you do lash out after a foul, normally isn't a good result in the end. And Aaron Fleury might be in a little bit of trouble here. She is standing over the free kick at the moment. Like, it is likely that Syracuse would still have that free kick. This was an after the play foul. The referee taking a long, hard look at this, and we'll get another angle of it.
Yeah, it wouldn't affect the status of the free kick, but might affect the free kick taker at this point.
And seeing that in real time there, and obviously when it is slowed down, it makes even minor lashes out seem a little bit more violent. But see, even in real time, saw Aaron Fleury kick out there at the last second with her right leg there. Whether that was intentional or not, I think that's the question.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it almost does seem a little bit intentional in terms of Fleury rolling over a little bit just too long after the play for it to just be a natural reaction. Again, this is a player that plays with so much heart, though, and so much hustle.
So Aaron, I think, knows that it could take a little bit, the longer it takes. Looks as if it's going to
Come here for a second.
have that final decision very, very soon. And here we will have that final decision momentarily from the referee.
Still a discussion with the linesman at this point. But they're done looking at review.
Talking to fourth official Matthew Altman there. See what the decision could be.
After a review, that is a yellow card caution to 26. Okay? Hey, Aaron, stay here, please. Aaron, stay here.
So there is that decision. Officially, Aaron Fleury will just receive a yellow card. See what happens from this free kick, if it will remain Syracuse ball. It looks as if it will at the moment.
Yellow card has been issued to Syracuse's number 26, Aaron Fleury, in the 74th minute.
Syracuse do keep the free kick. And Aaron Fleury only receives a caution. And that would have been, if he had got a red card, would be detrimental for Syracuse, not just today, but possibly down the line. Long ball into the area. That one's headed clear, and Lily Joseph can sprint away. Eva Ocean can't catch up this time. Izzy Engel sprinting down the left. Up against Sierra Collins. Engel still going. Kylan Grant does well, but Izzy Engel takes it off of her. Izzy Engel still. That one's into the area. Had to force Shea Vanderbosch off her line quickly. It was Julia Koval. Played that ball back into the Syracuse penalty area. A little bit dangerous from the Swedish sophomore.
Nobody up with Engel quickly. She had to do that all herself, even after getting it stripped away and taking it back. She was still virtually all alone by the time it ended up at the feet of Chukwu.
Izzy Engel playing with a lot of energy, and you feel a lot of pride. She wants that first ACC goal. Already 10 on the season, looking for that 11th. Keep her in the hunt for that ACC Golden Boot.
Nearly had it earlier in the game on a tap-in that she just skewed wide. She was flat-footed and just inches wide of getting that goal.
A few substitutions as well for Notre Dame. Grace Restovich will re-enter the contest, as well as Abby Gemma, who will enter for the first time today. It's Ellie Osbeck down the left this time. Ocheng trying to catch up. Still Osbeck. Ellie Osbeck alone. Syracuse able to clear. Now McDermott. Deflected off of the referee, and have a stoppage in play and have a drop ball for Syracuse.
Yep, anytime it hits the referee, have to blow that play dead. Get a stoppage in the clock. Rather, not in the clock, but in play, and let Syracuse resume in the attack. Not something you see a whole lot, but
it's under a quarter of an hour to go from SC Soccer Stadium. Notre Dame up 3-0 over Syracuse. Nicholas Whaley and Hudson Ridley with you still on ACC Network Extra. And Notre Dame now 28 shots on the day. Shea Vanderbosch has a season high in assists, and it might be another goal here. Restovich, and another save, however, from Vanderbosch. Make that her 11th on the day.
just a misplay on that back line. Lily Joseph, who played it ahead. Stevens had Restovich beat, but the touch forward in that case, and with that angle, allows Restovich to rip a shot. Vanderbosch, though, I mean, no doubt for her, she makes the tough saves look routine.
Notre Dame on the attack again. Ellie Osbeck. Izzy Engel. Still Izzy Engel. Sierra Collins is able to win it. It's given back to Restovich. Now Mensick. Mensick away from Wisbeck. Cross into the area. Glancing header from Joseph. Back to Osbeck. And loses her footing and it goes out of play. It will be a Syracuse goal kick. Again, fiery offense from this very, very energetic and youthful Notre Dame team.
They're youthful, but it seems like they play with a lot of experience because of how connected they are. Being on the same page is very, very important. In sports especially, but especially in soccer. Being on the same page, practicing a lot with your team, knowing who's going to make what run when, knowing who wants a ball here instead of there, what foot everybody on your front line is to play the best ball that you can. And these freshmen are playing like they've been playing together for maybe 3 or 4 years at this point. That is a big part of their success, not just their skill in the recruiting class, but their ability to play together as one group.
And Lily Joseph, who has 2 of the goals today for Notre Dame, got 2 of them in the space of 2 minutes. Coach Norman said that Lily is very, very talented. She can get the goals on her own. That's what makes her so impressive as well. The individual brilliance and that teamwork working hand in hand. Like you mentioned, Hudson, it's as much as soccer is about the individuals, it's a team sport at the end of the day, and it makes such a difference. Handball called against Maya McDermott this time.
And you also have to give credit to head coach Nate Norman. The scheme that they have running just works so perfectly for a Notre Dame team that has A, a lot of stamina, and B, a lot of pace. Playing those wing backs is so important to their success, controlling the wings, the speed and the tempo of the game. It's worked very well for them today and throughout the year as a whole.
Osbeck tried to cross it in. It's deflected by Ocheng. It was in the starting 11. It was 5 freshmen for Notre Dame, and now coming off the bench today, we've had Lily Joseph, Abby Gemma, of course Izzy Engel as well, who have all come off the bench. All freshmen. Total of 9 have played today. We're not even counting the other underclassmen, the sophomores, who have also made a big difference today. Cross to the near post, cleared by Fleury this time.
You look at a player, too. You mentioned Abby Gemma. This is a player you'd usually see playing a lot of the game. 8 starts this year. The only start she didn't have up until this point was last week against NC State, where she just played 45 minutes. That role is starting to shrink a little bit for Abby Gemma in the last couple of games, but This is a player that, you know, is going to be a part of this team for a while in the future as part of that holding back three.
Abby Gemma was the 19th ranked recruit in the entire country going into this season. I mean, you can say that about a lot of these players who were ranked in the top 50 of the recruiting class, number 4 recruiting class for Notre Dame going into this season. Driving into the area was Restovich. And a free kick right outside the area for the Fighting Irish.
Restovich, another highly rated recruit, number 8 in the country. Cassica, top 50 as well in those rankings. And they've shown it early on this season, even getting some of the better players from Canada, like Annabelle Chukwu.
And that's the recruiting territory that you would expect Syracuse to dominate. And while Syracuse have certainly got multiple players from Canada in the squad, that shot wasn't too far away. This time from Grace Restovich, trying to grab her 4th goal of the season. And it's but going back to the Canadian recruiting territory, we're seeing more and more players, both men's and women's, deciding to play college soccer just over the border. We've seen it on the men's side for Syracuse.
I mean, you're starting to see it in more sports than just men's and women's soccer, too. Football heavily recruiting in Canada as well. There's a lot of talent up there that's untapped, and because Syracuse being that Power 5, or rather Power 4 now, program that's so close to the border, it allows a lot of success in recruiting, especially in men's soccer. In that 2022 magical run, a lot of production being Canadians.
It's just a myth that it's always cold up there. They do have summer months as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'd imagine there are places in Canada that are significantly more southern than Syracuse, New York.
Foul is called this time against Notre Dame. A free kick for Syracuse. Just under 9 minutes to go. A goal for Syracuse at this point could spark a little bit of a flurry of a finish. It is Aaron Fleury standing over the free kick again. Options at that back post. Ryan McDermott waiting for it at the moment, just out of your picture. Fleury floats it in. Denning is up there, but couldn't direct it towards frame.
Denning has been a threat consistently. We saw a rip she took earlier from midfield that just missed. Now the header, she beats multiple players, going right in front of Sophia Fisher to get ahead to that ball. Her first year with the Orange, coming over from Siena. She's made her mark already as a sophomore, scoring a goal so far. But I'd expect as the years go on for her at SU, there will be a lot more production for her in her future.
2 substitutions for Notre Dame. KJ Ronan and Chase Ying have come into the game. Here is Lily Joseph on a hat trick at the moment for Notre Dame. Still Joseph. Lays it off to Ronan. Tried to give it back to Joseph. Wins a corner for Notre Dame, their 12th.
You could see Joseph kind of hat trick hunting for a while, made her way all the way to the back line. And when she knew she couldn't shake Kylan Grant, she had to play it wide, but even KJ Ronan was in on the act, trying to get it back to her.
12 corners in total for Notre Dame today, only averaging about 5 on the season. Just shows how efficient that attack has been today. Whipped into the area and cleared away by Oching. Nobody forward at all for Syracuse. Here's Joseph.
You have to wonder if at this point in the game it's just to try to relieve as much pressure off of Vanderbosch as you can. She's just done so much today.
Ronan running down the sideline, across into the air. Oh, it drops to Restovich! Cleared off the line, Restovich again! And once again, Grace Restovich just can't find the back of the net today. Multiple opportunities, 2 on this occasion.
All she could do was laugh about that. She had a good chance on the first one. Were deflected off of Collins, and then that second chance, as you can see. I mean, that's another just easy tap-in finish for Restovich. But off the left foot, can't slot it home.
8 total shots for Restovich today, all part of 33 in total for Notre Dame. That's a season high. Restovich with the most shots for the team today for Notre Dame, just can't find the back of the net. All over the top. Denning runs onto it. Up against two Notre Dame defenders. Lays it off. Shot from Dupre. Straight into the hands of Kasica.
Again, just another good play by Denning, though, drawing both defenders, beating them to the spot where she wanted to cross it, and then playing the smart ball inside to find Dupre. A shot, though, that won't trouble Kasica. She's seen a lot tougher this season.
Only the second save of the afternoon for Sonoma Kasica, another one of those freshmen in the starting 11 for Notre Dame.
Nick, you have to love the intensity of Ocheng. Obviously, it's not something that's going to show up on the stat sheet, but the pace and pressure that she puts by pushing further up the field has been admirable.
Engel, lovely turn. Izzy Engel! And drags it wide again. And that first ACC goal still looms for Izzy Engel.
Just didn't have the angle, no pun intended, at that point. Tried to make something happen being screened at that point, but not a troubling shot. Couldn't get it off the ground.
We need those like drum sound, yeah, those drum sound effects.
I prefer the womp womp for my jokes.
Lily Joseph. Collins does well and wins the free kick. As it stands, Ellie Hudson was the one who got that third goal for Notre Dame. So that means all three goals scored today by the Fighting Irish, our freshmen. Make that 25 of their 30 goals this season have come from first-year players. I mean, it's truly exceptional to see that from a freshman class that have been able to make an impact so quickly. And the worry for the rest of the ACC is that these are players that really keep improving throughout their entire tenure.
Exactly. A lot of their best players being freshmen, but then most of the rest of their best players being made up of sophomores at this point. You have two of the best goalkeepers in the country statistically on your line, a freshman and a sophomore. Some of the best attack pieces in the ACC, freshmen and sophomores. And a back line made up of freshmen playing serious minutes in ACC play and holding their own.
Asia Cobb did very well to keep that ball in play, but Syracuse can't do anything about it. Instead, Grace Restovich sprints away for the Irish. Restovich looks for Engel. Vanderbosch will get there first. Engel was in an offside position anyway. Just over 3 minutes to go. Notre Dame look to seal all 3 points for their second win in the ACC this season. And bounce back from a 1-1 draw against NC State last time out. A result that Coach Norman was so disappointed about, but this is a performance that you would hope Coach Norman would not be disappointed with.
When you ask about a loss, you never like to hear a one-sentence answer to your question, and that's exactly what we got. Yeah. Not happy with that performance, but like you said, it's a good bounce back here today. Even though they couldn't break through more than 3 times despite having 30-plus shots, the valiant effort is still there, and the fact that you have to face one of the ACC's best, or even the ACC's best in general in Shea Vanderbosch, you'll take a 3-0 win if you're Notre Dame.
11 total saves now for the Syracuse goalkeeper. Lily Joseph, who's got 2 of the goals today, crosses it into the area, nicely collected by Vanderbosch. Next up for Notre Dame on the road against Louisville. That will be certainly an interesting game. And you would think that Notre Dame is favored in that one after Louisville fell to UNC 5-0 yesterday. And after that, that's when it starts to get a little bit more difficult, though, for the Fighting Irish, going up against Cal, Stanford, and Duke back-to-back. Finishing out the season against a really solid Virginia Tech team, and then also Pitt on the final day of the season. That could be pivotal when it comes to seeding in the ACC tournament. Different to the men's tournament, where everyone gets in. Only 8 get in for the ACC tournament on the women's side.
I feel like you could read off a list of any team in the ACC and their remaining schedule and go, wow, that's a tough schedule. Nikki Adams talked to us about it. That is just the level of play of the ACC versus everybody else. It
doesn't get too much easier for Syracuse after today either. Here's Ronan in the meantime. Cleared away by Wisbeck. Syracuse will go back on the road against Pittsburgh. Lily Joseph. Ball is loose. Lizzie Engel cleared away. Only as far as Klenke. Here's Ying. Looks to play Engel in again.
Even with 40 seconds left, Nate Norman not parking the bus with this Notre Dame team.
Engel's crossing to the area. Cleared away by Grant. What control from Engel. That will drift wide, and that might be the final action of the afternoon. Notre Dame dominant. 37 shots in total for the Fighting Irish. Izzy Engel may not have got on the score sheet today. That first ACC goal will have to wait for the freshman. 10 seconds to go. Notre Dame, 3 points for the Fighting Irish, number 17 team in the country, with a statement win on the road against Syracuse. Make that 6 straight wins over the Orange. Goals for her in the space of 90 seconds, one of which was an absolute beauty. Hudson, this is a result that maybe we could have predicted going into today, but Notre Dame, especially going forward, looked phenomenal.
No, they really did, and we talked about it all day. The youth that they have on this team is going to benefit them going forward. Lily Joseph, those 2 goals today from a freshman. It's an impressive team looking forward, but you also have to give Shea Vanderbosch a lot of credit in net. She was a brick wall consistently today, even when the back line just kind of let things go towards the end.
Final score from SU Soccer State.